Y'all can see me now? Can y'all hear me?
And most blacks didn't really want to go. It was terrifying.
We just did what we were told to do.
The schools are still backwards.
Oh, I loved that. You felt safe. When I got home, I told Mama, I said, I'm not taking this no more.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special treat for you tonight. The very people that are a part of that documentary because of you are on the show with us tonight. One of them being my own dad, Tony Goodson. What's going on, Tony Goodson? How you doing?
I'm here.
What's good? Alongside Sandy K. Cobb Clayton is what she have. How you doing, Miss K. Cobb Clayton?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
Good. Blessed. And another very special guest we have who is also a part of that crew. She just popped out. Her name is Billye Pannell. We will get to her in just a second. All right, y'all. So tonight we got a very special show. We want to talk about history because as we come up on Juneteenth is just the time to talk a little bit more about Black history in addition to Black History Month, in addition to any other day of the year. So we want to talk about it with you guys tonight. First of all, people say thank you for your service whenever military is involved. So we got to say to y'all, thank you for your service for us Black folk whenever paving the way is involved. Because at least myself went to that high school, and each one of us went to a different high school that not necessarily was integrated back in y'all's day. So anyway, thank y'all for that service. All right, let's just jump right on in. We're going to talk about the documentary. We're going to talk about y'all's experiences. First of all, is there anything you guys want to start off by saying?
No, I'm glad it's over, and I'm glad it was a lot easier for you guys.
So am I.
Guys just stepped right on in and took over, I heard,
Absolutely. We had a much better football team.
Say what, Billy?
Say it again.
One more time,
I'm pretty sure it was very, very, very
enlightening. Tony broke the ice for us.
Oh yeah, we tried. Tony was my backbone.
Tony K broke the ice for us. I went the second year.
Okay.
If I could see Tony back there, I was okay, because the Goodsons have a reputation.
Hey.
And his dad was good friends with my stepdad, so I knew I'd be all right. Yeah.
Hey, let me say this real quick, Anthony. Speaking of Goodsons, man, I appreciate Mr. Goodson. You keep telling Anthony these stories about what you guys went through, because he definitely wanted to kind of put the documentary together. And we watched parts of it before already. Me and Ace and some other people too. And we think it's an incredible amount of information that was put together in a very meticulous kind of a way. So thank you for keeping those stories alive, because I think those stories are very important, that we need to keep telling our kids and our kids' kids, because if you don't know where you come from, you can't appreciate where you are now. So I definitely appreciate you guys.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah.
I definitely want to
think Tony actually kept it alive with his son, because Anthony said he's been telling him that since he was a little boy. So finally, it resonated. Like, I got to do something,
That's a good thing. All my dad ever told me about how he walked 2 miles in the snow. So you gotta look something better.
Yeah, we have those stories too, but yeah, that was something, because we got no kind of recognition. We didn't get any briefing, like you guys getting ready to embark on a whole new adventure. And like, beware of this, that, nothing. We just had to just be thrown to the wolves, And
I remember that first day, and I tell you what, the first year and the first day was pretty decent. But that second year got kind of rough. But that first year, I would say it was pretty good.
Well, I think the first year was not bad, and the first month of the first year was real good because it was just band and football,
Right.
And that's where we were. But after the whole school came in, that's when you had to keep, looking around like, oh, what? Ooh.
I think, and for those of you just joining us, we're talking about the documentary Because of You and the integration of Sulphur Springs High School in 1965. So, I guess my question to y'all would be, you say the first year was okay, and you say the first month was okay of the first year. But what was the climate like before school even started? Like when you go to a grocery store, did you go to integrated grocery stores, or did you have your own black grocery store that you go to?
No, we went to the same grocery stores. It wasn't like a separate. We had little stores in our community that we could go to just to get little things, I guess, to hold us until grocery day. But going to Brookshire's and Safeway and all that, everybody just, I guess, went to the same grocery store.
Let's go to the comments.
I was a kid, so I guess my mother did it, Yeah.
Father and son, good deal. That's Kenton Kelly. Go ahead.
That first year, before we went out there, I don't know how these people found out that we was coming out there. I don't know how the word got out.
They were waiting for us, Tony.
Well, a lot of people knew we was going, and where we lived at K, it was kind of mixed anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And all the people that knew that we was going, I thought was my friends. Well, that turned out to be a different story.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but some of them did.
Yeah.
So
the people that you really thought was your friend. I mean, I remember being hurt behind that because, it was like I didn't have any more friends, It was like everybody just dismissed me. And
so explain that, because I'm not sure what y'all talking about. Are you talking about the black friends?
I'm talking about the black kids. We knew the white kids was gonna do that, but we thought we had we thought we would still have our black community behind us,
That's interesting.
We did not. Even the teachers. I was saying yesterday, a day before yesterday, that even the teachers like Dorothy Jo Thomas. I remember her, and she was one of the ones that I remember that just really, I didn't get a good vibe from her ever after I left Douglas. Mm-hmm.
So Billy, I know you went the second year, and you stayed back, and you probably heard some of the chatter as they went. I think Billy's going to get a delay. But tell me, what kind of chatter did you hear? What was it all about? Was it a lot of sellout names, or was it crab in the barrel? What was going on at that time?
I didn't hear a whole lot of negative back at the school, still at the black school, when the first few went out to the white school. And maybe I just missed it, but I just didn't see nor hear a whole lot of it. And when I went the second year, I still had the same friends at the black school that I had before I left and went to the white school. So that Caitlin saying that the friends at the black school and some of the teachers didn't treat them the same, I didn't take it.
Mm-hmm. They did not. We were not, and we couldn't. They didn't invite us to anything, the class reunions and stuff. I was never invited to. I didn't get invited until 1997.
Wow.
And we had been out of school since 67, so I didn't get invited to anything.
Now my class is pretty good about that. It was just a handful of people just saying you think you better because you're going out there and all that kind of stuff. But that never entered my mind.
Mine either. What did we do? Just what our parent mother said. You going to the senior high school in September, and I was like, really? Okay.
I mean, something Billy said was kind of interesting to me. Just hearing the fact that she was at the black school, but you all went to the white school. That sent chills on my spine just to even hear like it was. I know we're talking about second, joining the schools, but to hear that separated like that, even now, still seeing chills up my spine a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting to me. Like thinking about that now, back then now, and you see what's going on today in today's world. How everybody's more together. How do you guys feel like you help with that? Because I think you helped a lot. But how do you guys think you helped with that? Especially in Sulphur Springs. Y'all set the tone for a lot going on in Sulphur Springs right now.
I guess. You know, I don't know if did we help or did we, you know, I don't know. Because, you know, it was 5 of us in my senior class, in my junior class, and me, Rosemary Smith, and Charles Mason, Martha Jean Stevens. I never had a class with any of them. And, you know, I don't know. I thought we would probably eat lunch together. I never had lunch with Tony. We never met up and sat together and talked about our experience. Nothing. You know, we just went, did what we had to do, and went home. Yeah.
You know something very. Oh, go ahead, Ace.
Oh, I was saying with everything you guys went through with the experience, you know, and I know that had to be like, you know, just kind of shocking. Like you said, Miss Sandy K, you guys just kind of thrown to the wolves. But when you went through that, did any of you ever think that your lives would have an impact on people in the future? Like, did you think like what you were doing is something that was setting the tone and making a leeway?
No, I didn't.
I did
not.
I never thought about nothing like that.
No, I didn't think about it like that. I didn't. I thought was that my mother wanted whatever was best for me, and she always was like that. And I guess that was an opportunity she saw that maybe would help me in the future, and it actually did, you know. But no, I didn't think that at the time. No, I just thought I'm out here by myself, you know, help somebody.
But see, I was partly recruited.
My best friend, she went to Como-Picton, and you know, it was lonesome. I'll put it like that. Or is it lonesome or lonely? One of those.
Be one, either one.
Yeah.
But I will say this, you know, I had no problem with people in the band. Not one person in the band.
No, me either.
I went there.
Me either.
Except for Mr. Wyman, and Mr. Wyman knew because he recruited me. See, a lot of people didn't know that. He wanted me to come out there and play the drums.
Okay.
And he knew I couldn't read music.
But he was okay with that.
Yeah, he's supposed to teach me. But you know, when you had to go in these little small rooms to pass a test, and you had to have this sheet of paper in front of you, you had to read it. I couldn't read the music, but I could play it.
Oh, wow.
Drum line.
Well, you know, thank God for Mr. Hawkins, because he taught me everything I knew about music. So I at least could read music when I got there. And I was up for the challenge, even though I didn't know it was a challenge, but I was up for it when I got there. Yeah.
Okay, so y'all said something very interesting to me, something about how y'all never hung out with each other. You wouldn't, didn't have lunch together. It's strange because to this day, I do the same thing when I go to work. I work in the corporate world. So when all of us get together, it's 50 of us, 100 of us, or whatever, the black people just kind of have an unspoken code. We are not going to gather up. We're not going to sit and talk to each other. We're going to mingle with everybody else. And when it's all said and done, we'll come back and we'll have, phone call or whatever. And so it was that done by design by the people, or was that done by design by you guys back at that time, not to sit with each other?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. Why didn't we do it, Tony? I don't know. Because, we had lunch at the same time. And you never saw us sitting together talking, or I don't know if we thought that might pose a threat to them, or we didn't think like that anyway, because, I think we were just too young to think like that,
Now, Billy, you came the second year. What was the move for you? Were y'all grouping up a little bit more? Because by this time, it's a whole lot more of y'all going the second year.
Second year. Billy's
got a delay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, maybe she's having issues. Anyway, Eric, you had a question?
Oh, no.
Say that again, because I'm not hearing it. Mine's going in and out.
Okay, so you came the second year. Did you see a difference with hanging out with your black friends the second year? Or was it similar to what they're saying? Did you just kind of feel like you were all alone with regards to your black friends?
Are y'all able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think Billy's having some technical issues.
Well,
We'll get that taken care of. Go ahead, Ace.
I'll tell you what. One question. Do you guys feel like this experience made you a stronger person? Like it made you stronger in life?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. I really do.
Is it one of those things like you saying, it was hard, but I wouldn't trade it for the world? I wouldn't change a thing?
Exactly. I'm so glad I did it. Because my sister tell me all the time, she is older than me, and my brothers too. They always tell me I couldn't have done it. They say, I don't know how you did it. I couldn't have done that. But I mean, it wasn't that hard. It was hard, but it wasn't so hard that it couldn't be done. And I think I believe that they had already briefed the white students at what was coming. It's a volunteer this year. It'll be a few coming, and then after a while, it's going to be the whole school. But they did not brief us. They didn't tell us anything. I didn't even know where the school was. Where is it? I could
really?
walk to Douglas.
So for those of you just joining us, we're talking to the cast of Because of You, those on that who have been interviewed for the documentary. What they probably don't know, in 1965, that was the first year of integration in the state of Texas. And, there's a lot of cities in Texas, including Mansfield, Texas, which is near Dallas, close to, in fact, that's where Eric lives today. And
wow.
I'm not sure if Eric experienced the racism that was there at that time. But Mansfield, Texas was so racist, and I believe it was the most racist town in Texas.
Wow.
They said they will never, at that time, it's not anymore now, it's Biter, Texas, but I'm not throwing any shade. They said they will never, ever let, and they didn't say a black person. And I don't even think they said coon. I think they said some of the N-words integrate into their school. So anyway, that's the climate that they were in. So what they did is, of course, they kind of eased you guys in there. The first year was voluntary, the second year was voluntary, and then third year, I believe, was mandatory. So for those of you who don't know, that's kind of the situation. Anyway, coming up next, we're going to talk a little bit more about y'all's experience and how y'all felt at the Sulphur Springs High School. I don't know if you want to call it the white school or what at that time, but we're going to take
That's what I called it. I called it the white school because that's what it was.
What they said, the white school. You going to the white school?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was the white school. We were the black school. Yeah.
I was going to give a test 5 minutes before the bell rang.
I think LB at school put me up going in there and changing that clock.
First thing I did was look at the clock.
So we would have stayed in that class long.
And just about the time I told them to take their paper out, the bell rang.
And Dr. Joe looked at them, wait a minute, is the time to go already?
I don't know who did. Oh, I fussed pitifully. I fussed and I fussed and I fussed. But I got to know who messed with the clock. One note I got that came in there and said, I am a foster kid, and if one more thing messes up with me, I'll have to go back.
I think somebody
We did a lot of things together. We did a lot of things growing up.
All right, we're back. Hey, look, we're having a lot of fun talking to you guys about this. I guess my question is, like, it's Black history. Are y'all fans of Black history? And then the second part of that is, do y'all know y'all are a part of Black history?
Indeed.
Well, you made us know we're part of Black history, but
I never looked at it that way.
I didn't either. No, I didn't. I always looked further back, I guess, than where we were. But you made us know we are part of Black history, Anthony. Thank you.
Tell it how it is, says Toya. My sister-in-law. So I created the story. No, I didn't. Let me re-say that. I want to say it just right because it was embedded in me for 45 years. That y'all were part of Black history. And just to tell you a little quick something about the documentary, it started out as a 10-minute documentary. Tony Goodson had been telling me my whole life about this story, and then it's funny because as I started digging, I found a new newspaper article where someone interviewed Tony Goodson about this in 91 or something. And I think I put it in the documentary. I can't believe it. I don't remember. I don't think so. But anyway, so it had been told to me, and finally I started seeing all the different pieces come together. But what was most interesting, I wish I would have made a clip for it, was H.W. Ridge. So let's talk a little bit more about H.W. Ridge. Eric and H, I think y'all may have seen that portion of the video. But going back, I mean, it's like there were people fighting for y'all even before y'all knew people were fighting for y'all.
We didn't know that he was really fighting for us like that. I didn't. Did you, Tony?
No, I didn't know it.
I didn't. Now he's Billye's uncle, so she might have known, but I didn't know he was actually fighting for better education, better books, and schools, and all the amenities that you would have, for education. I did not know that. He even had a store and all of that down where in the East End, and I'm just learning that just now.
So HW and Billy, I think you're muted or something. I can't seem to fix your mic. But anyway, for those of you who don't know, in Sulphur Springs, H.W. Ridge was an individual who, he was very before he was Martin Luther King. Let's put it this way. In the 50s, in 1954, of course, he's throughout this documentary as well. And when the Brown versus the Board of Education was passed, H.W. Ridge went down and said, "You must integrate our schools next year." Now, this is way before his time. This is 1954, June 1954. And I can't tell too much because it's in the documentary, but they shot up his house. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And so those are the sacrifices that were being made. Now, truth be told, today, technology in 2005 and technology in 2015 is far different. It moves so fast. But from 1954 to 1965, to be honest with you, things was very, very slow. So the mindset of 1955 was very similar of the mindset of 1965. So that's why I have to kind of almost loop y'all together with him, because what he went through, getting his house shot up, was not much difference in time-wise as what y'all could have gone through at that time.
Right, so exactly. And just like Melvin, Tony's friend said, once you see all that stuff on TV, you really are afraid to do something like what we did. You scared because you don't know what's going to happen to you. Now, Ridge, I think it's such a good thing that he did. He was really bold, but that's how the white people did. If they saw a black person that was really trying to move blacks forward, they would run you out of town, like they did him, burn his house down, shoot up his house. And if they had been there, probably would have killed him, So,
I'll tell you what, I think that month we went to school before everybody helped us out a whole lot. Because I think most people kind of got used to us in a way. So I think that really helped us out a whole lot.
I think so too, Tony. Yeah. I really do. That was really the best time for us, because it was the band and the football. That was it.
I just know I used to look around the band hall, I could see Cable. That was it. Nobody else in that. That was it. Look back to the back, now I was back in it, but that was it.
Yep. Yeah. And I wasn't even accustomed to playing for our chair positions, because at the black school, we just played, and I mean, whoever could play, and whoever couldn't, they just carried their instruments, but yeah. So then when I got to the white school and saw that I was going to have to play for the chair, I thought, oh my goodness, I'm probably going to be the last chair of the saxophones, because I'm a black girl, But then when we played, and then I had to play against the first chair, and I played against him and beat him. He made us do it again, and I beat him again. I was like, oh boy, you never get in this chair back again.
Okay, Mister. I see.
That's
it. What they didn't like about me was I have my cadence. I like a cadence to when I was playing the drums. You have to have a little rhythm to it.
To not be able to read music, excuse me for cutting you off, but you were so good at it.
Well, if you played it once, I had it. I don't know how it happened, but
you had an ear.
Yeah, I had airport. So
everybody don't have that.
But we had the first chair back there in the back. I always say in the back of the room because that's where the drummers were.
Yeah, it was in the back.
I got voted to be the first chair. But Mr. Obama said he said no because I couldn't read music.
Oh my God! See, that's not right.
Goodson, Anthony? Did you get that musical ear? Like, can you get down?
Yeah, I got an ear. I can hear what people play.
So I got a question for good Anthony. I got a question for you. So been hearing this story your whole life. What inspired you to do the documentary?
Well, you know what? As far as I was concerned, there was so many people getting all this credit, and you see all the Little Rock Nine and I'm trying to think of all the different people out there, Ruby Bridge, and all these people who got this national attention, and I never could understand why they got so much attention when everybody else didn't. You know what I mean? The whole country, like for example, and I'll get back to the question, but you look at what's it called, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Tulsa, Oklahoma gets all this credit because they got burnt down, and they're even called Black Wall Street. Well, Tulsa, Oklahoma is not Black Wall Street. It happened all over the country. That's what Black Wall Street was. They had the Tulsa Massacre. And so they get all the credit, and people don't know that there are other stories out there just like that one. In fact, there's one in the documentary in Sherman, Texas. So I thought to myself, this story has to be told, in addition to the fact that they actually have some background to the story, with like H.W. Ridge and, of course, William Durham, which we'll see later. And there's a lot of people in that small town who did it. And the camaraderie that we have in that small town today. I have so many white friends, white classmates, and buddies of mine who, if never for what they did for us, 40 years, 30 years before, we would have never seen that. So we would never have those relationships. So I thought it was very important to tell that story and let the world know that we also have a story, and maybe our story can be told nationally on the same platform as Ruby Bridges and some of the other people.
Back in the day, they used to tell me, well, Tony Goodson the one started all this. Well, you know what they say.
Yeah.
I used to tell them all the time, no, I wasn't the first one. My name was just picked. I was the first name to be picked.
But you were though, Tony.
Well, I didn't look at it that way. I just thought, I'm going to school. All I want to know is who's going with me. That's all I want to know.
Absolutely.
And I think that first year, I don't think I had a black classmate nowhere.
Yeah,
I can't remember a sophomore that year that was black outside of me.
I remember Judy Ross told me, we took that sweetheart picture my senior year. Reese had come home from, I guess, boot camp or wherever he was in the service. And she said she was there. She said, I remember that. I was there. And I don't remember Judy and Jimmy Lloyd White being at that event. And Reese had to go and get permission from the principal to be with me at that. And they only let him, I believe, because he was military.
They did somebody else like that too, but I forgot who it was.
Yeah, because I couldn't take nobody to the prom, from another school.
I took my first
two guys that were there didn't ask me, so anyway, I just went by myself.
We're gonna just jump right on over his comment because
you can't jump over that.
Why? Because I took my first cousin.
Yeah, I was like, did it make the slow songs a little difficult? Like the DJ slowed it down.
You gotta dance with your cousin.
No, I just went with it. I didn't dance with it.
Okay.
I can't even imagine being there with my cousin.
All right, we're gonna go to the comments. We're going to go to the comments. I'm not real sure who this is, Eric, if you want to. I had a black classmate my senior year, R.V. Wright.
Yep.
I'm not sure who said that. All right, we're talking to the...
That's Miss Billye.
Miss Billye. Okay, Miss Billye is on with us. I think she's having some issues.
Difficult. That's pretty sharp.
Smart.
Yeah, he died in a car wreck.
Okay. We're talking to the inaugural class of Sulphur Springs High School. That started the integration. So tell me how y'all feel about this. In the documentary, some point, I can't say where. Sister Dorothy Joe Thomas, which was y'all's school teacher, she said there's a difference between desegregation and integration. Desegregation means you stop integrating, but integration means you come together. Tell me how y'all feel about that. It's very interesting. That's a very interesting thought when you think about it, because deseg means it's kind of like integrating, but you're not coming together. It means you're just not separate. Now, how long did it take before y'all integrated, not just desegregated, once school started?
Well, she was never my teacher, so I don't know. I mean,
her opinion, no
I'm sorry.
I don't know that mother.
Well, she's my teacher too, so
She wasn't my teacher, so
maybe I didn't ask the question right.
no, I understood what you said. You said, did we ever like integrate?
Did you mingle with white people? Did you spend the night with white people?
No. I didn't. I was only there 2 years. So maybe if I had been there maybe 4 years, maybe, but I was only there 2 years, and no, I did not. I stayed with my own peeps. Yeah. But the second year Cassie was there, Cassie Edwards, she was there, and we had been friends growing up together, so that made it easy for band. She was in band with me and Tony.
Yeah.
And so that made, 3 of us, huh, Tony?
Yes, it was 3 of us at one time.
Yep. Yeah, it was 3 of us. And she was good too. She was a snare drum player. But I don't know how to answer that, Anthony. But
I wasn't invited, so I didn't go.
Yeah.
Just that simple. But we have white people. We have white people come over to our house all the time, but they never invited us to our house.
Yeah.
Oh.
Interesting. So y'all desegregated for sure. Integration just took time, I guess.
Because there's so many blacks right now that still believe that we should have stayed segregated,
Oh, yeah.
And, to segregate to, have our own and, rather than trying to bring them in.
Well, I have a list of questions here I was going to ask, but let's stick with that for a moment, because I think that's kind of deep and interesting. So let me ask each one of y'all the same exact question. Do you think we should have integrated at that point, or should we have waited another few years, or should we have given the students 20 years to volunteer and then finally it's a yes? How should we have done that?
I think we should have. I think we did the right thing.
I think we should have done it then when we did it.
If you put it off and put it off and put it off, then
it's not going to happen.
Where we ended up. So I think we did the right thing.
Yeah, me too.
Well, Plessy versus Ferguson, I think 1890 or so was a lawsuit that came down talking about separate but equal. Black people should be over here, white people should be over here. They're separate, but everything's going to be equal. And of course, they consider that the absolute worst case in American history. And it proves to be so. It kind of goes along with what y'all are saying. Yeah, you should have mingled, because if not, black people are still going to get these raggedy books and old jerseys and so forth. Go to the comment. I think it's Billy. She said, I think once we entered the white school, we were integrated. Yes, I needed it to happen. Or it needed to happen.
Yeah, it needed to. Yeah. I think that was the right time.
Yeah.
So what? Go ahead, Ace.
Go ahead. No, you got it.
So what were some of the arguments for the people that said that they wished it hadn't happened? What were they saying?
Oh, they don't say that they wish it hadn't happened. They just said they believe that what's his name? Malcolm X was right about staying together and not integrating like that, but staying segregated, having our own stuff, right. And right now it's so many black entrepreneurs that's really trying to do that, similar to that, I guess I'll say, having our own black money and recycling the black dollar and like having our business and going to black businesses, spending our money rather than going out and giving our money to the white people that got way more, you know. But as a rule, we don't do that, you know, with each other. We're very critical of each other.
Yeah, that's true.
Very.
Well, my personal opinion of that is, I think we should have integrated, simply because you can look at a poor neighborhood versus a rich neighborhood. The things that the poor people can control, they do. Things with white people, the rich people control, they can. But look at stuff that they can't control, like the streets, potholes, and the streets are, and stuff like that is something you can't control. So it's separate. You got a rich, nice neighborhood with nice streets and are paved and no potholes versus the poor neighborhood. So just imagine what they do once you separate by race. Let's go to the comments. Someone asked a question. They said, and Ace, I know you have a question also. It says, do you feel that you miss anything leaving in the black school?
I missed the prom. I'm just kidding.
Oh, I thought she was out. Okay.
You thought I'd add a whole list. No. Yeah. But I did miss my 2 proms, junior, senior prom. Yeah. That's just a part of growing up. You want to go to the prom. I did. That's why I went by myself. But it was just so uneventful, You
could have took your cousin. Y'all might would have had a little more fun. You took your cousin.
Oh no, I was not going with the relative. That's for sure.
Y'all, I look at y'all make me feel bad because I look at everything y'all went through and the sacrifice y'all made, and I got a chance to, my age be integrated, and I ain't even go. So now I look back, y'all got me feeling guilty. If I had to do again, I would have been there every single day. Paying attention and everything. Yeah. But I was there in spirit though. So
I tried to pay attention every day, Ace, but you know what? When people's putting tacks in your chair and you get shot upside the head with a paper clip or whatever, it was hard.
Tony had it hard.
It was hard.
Yeah,
it was hard.
Tony had it hard. And yesterday they were asking about the light skin. Deborah was asking, did I think that being a light skinned person, I had it easier? But I think that white people look at us as black, whether your skin is light, bright, or darn near white. We still black people.
Yeah, but so you had the looks to go with it. That I think that was important.
He seriously started stuttering.
Okay, you were beautiful.
Thank you, Tony.
So you guys think back and you look at and I know it's kind of different because I go through the same thing when people ask for autographs and stuff. But when you guys kind of look back on everything, how does it make you feel to see your when you see your experience on the screen? Like when you saw the documentary, how did that make you feel seeing your experience being put into a project like that?
Good. It made me feel really good. Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to answer that because really I never thought about it.
I feel good about it. I saw some of my band pictures. I saw I think that's all I saw really. Because that's basically what I did was band. It made me feel good, just to see that again some 50 some years later. Yeah.
Well, showing the band picture made it good for me because it took my mind off the other stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't know what I was going through. I went through a whole lot more than what the women did. So.
Oh man.
I did not.
I ain't had no brothers to back me up. So.
Do you think football games were different in black schools and the bands? Was it different?
Say it again. What?
Oh, that experience.
Was the football games, going to a high school football game, was it better at the high school, at the black school or the white school?
It was better at the white school. Yeah. Now we had more fun at the black school, but it was more structured at the white school because one, we could play and we were taught, the band, we practiced to where our lines were straight.
Oh yeah.
And it was a very professional looking. when we were out on the field at halftime. As opposed to, and I love Douglas, please don't get me wrong, but Douglas, Tony, you was there.
Oh yeah, I was there. Yeah. The white
school. I think most of the people in the band just carried their instruments. They just carried the instruments, And, 1 year, my band director, Mr. Hoskins, trained me the whole summer to be drum major. Okay, so I'm studying all summer to be drum major. And then when the time came, he told me he needed me in the band. He said, I need you in the band. And so I guess I understood that. But I wanted to have on the short skirt too, and lead the band because I felt like I had earned it. But anyway, Evelyn Bell, she was the drum major and she was really good at it. So I can't be mad at her.
Yeah, but
she did a really good
job. It wasn't
but
a handful of us at Douglas.
It was. And when he said he needed me in the band, I'm like, I'll play up in the stands, but can I just lead the band? I didn't say that though. I just said, okay.
But think about the difference between Douglas and Sulphur Springs Senior High was, Sulphur Springs Senior High was more military type to me, more discipline.
Yeah, more structure.
Yeah. And you can have more fun in Douglas than you could.
And when we practice at that field behind the school, Tony?
Oh, yeah.
You know how marching, and then your heel hit the white line?
Right.
Your heel hit the white. That's what kept the line straight.
Oh, yeah.
I never knew that before. All the time I've been in the band. I was like, oh, so we all got to hit this at the same time. So that line is straight. Next one, Yep. So it was just more structure,
Well, we had more discipline out there. I just didn't like the music. I never liked the music.
So wasn't no y'all wasn't playing none of Motown hits or nothing like that?
We played The Horse.
No.
Quan Johnson
coming up roses.
We had a white director, so
everything coming up roses.
Quan Johnson say, Ant, he meant to say Ant. See if you can have Ace to send me his John Hancock. Oh, you got a fan, Ace?
I got you.
It doesn't matter what. This is Billy. She said it doesn't matter whether you were light skinned or not. They look at you as black. I feel good about the documentary. I was in the band also, played a clarinet, and was in the National Honor Society. So what that says to me is, go ahead.
Hearing y'all, so I'm thinking about the time frame this was going on and the atmosphere was going on, and y'all played in band. Was it ever any concern for y'all, like staying after school and kind of like the later it got into the day? Like, was it ever a concern for y'all, like the sun might be getting ready to go down and we over here at this school?
No, I never had that problem. Like I said, the band to me was a safe place.
Mm-hmm.
When you watch,
people in the band were very, very nice. They treated us very, very nice. I never had a problem in the band.
Okay.
Either.
When you watch movies about stuff like this, Hollywood always shows that one white guy, a white girl, or white person that's the savior of the whole movie. That's the one white person who had your back the whole time and took care of this, that, and other. Did y'all have anybody that was like that? Like that one person who just stood up for you, right or wrong, and you could tell that they genuinely had a good, strong heart. And if so, you could say their name. Before you say that, there was two white people, and I kick a shout out. I think I told y'all this last night, who I wanted in this documentary, and they both passed away. The funeral was the same day. Tommy Ross and BJ Hooten. BJ Bixby, I believe, in high school. So I want to say that. But anyway, was there that one quote unquote savior white person, or through thick and thin, they were just going to do the right thing that y'all can remember?
I can.
You can?
Yes, the first day. And
okay.
She's gone too. I don't want to use her name because it kind of started a race riot because they thought we was, together, but we were just good friends. And she stuck with me all the way through. So what's wrong, Ace?
They thought one of y'all was coming home for dinner, huh?
Man, she was just genuine. I mean, she had a heart to go. She treated me like I was a human being.
As you were. Yeah.
Well, and the one that Dickie just named, BJ, she did too. But the other one, I can't explain it. It was just different.
Well, look, we're going to ask a whole lot more questions. We're talking about because of you, and we're talking to the cast here. We got one more break we're going to take, and then we're going to come back and we're going to wrap this thing up. See y'all in just a minute.
All right.
But when I ask who William J. Durham is,
I know who he is. He's
William Durham. I'm not too familiar with William Durham. Does he have another name, or was that one of the people on the school board?
I think that's where he is. I know who he is. I know he was a
Never.
No, William Durham.
Crickets.
Okay.
Okay.
I still don't know who he is.
William Durham.
Oh, Lord.
Man, you got me. I don't know. I don't know who that is.
Oh, boy.
William J. Durham. That was another individual individual who helped pave the way. You know, it's an interesting story. As I'm doing the research to this documentary, William J. Durham comes up. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Because, of course, his name is said a lot with Thurgood Marshall. Everybody knows who Thurgood Marshall is. And William J. Durham is, he's similar. He's an attorney. He fought for equal rights. He did that and other. It's in the documentary. But what was interesting was, not only was he from Sulphur Springs, he's also related somewhat to an individual on the show today. And I thought that this just kind of pulled all the things together. Now, even though that's interesting, it's just not so far-fetched given the fact that Cobb here is from Sulphur Springs in that small town that William J. Durham was from too. So nevertheless, I definitely wanted to bring that up. Just like H.W. Ridge, there's so many different people who helped pave the way even before y'all came through. Right. And of course, we wanted to spotlight him too. Now, there's another person that we talked about who's kind of posthumous to this documentary.
Posthumous, word of the day.
Any word longer than 5 letters, K, Ace don't know.
I told you I didn't go.
He's learning though, I see.
Oh yeah, we learning. We gonna memorize it.
Rowena Spigner, aka Rowena Johnson, one of my best good friends growing up's mom. So she's a part of this story, and interestingly enough, even though she didn't go to Sulphur Springs, she's still in the same county you guys were in. And she ended up going to Como, which is right down the street. But she was the first to integrate Como. And then there's a whole lot of history wrapped around her. Do y'all want to speak on her a little bit?
Yeah, I can speak a little bit on it. Just the fact that we were best friends up at Douglas Grade School. You know, we met in 7th grade. And when 65 came, they had to go to Como-Picton, which meant we was going to have to separate. But we stayed good friends and, still did what we normally did. She would come up to the East End. Y'all know about the East End? No. But anyway.
Those two don't. I do.
Yeah. I'm too young for that. But anyway, yeah. And we would spend the night. They had a dairy farm out in Como-Picton. And they really lived like rich people. I'm telling you. I live almost right in the East End, but Rowena's family, they live like the dynasty people. And so I would love going down there. Yeah. And she would love coming to my house. And I thought, you got all this? And then you want to come to my house and sleep on a pull-out couch? That's just something, but that's just when you just like a person no matter what, Yeah. So, and then we were going to go to East Texas State University together, but she did go, and I got married. That right after I graduated high school, I got married that June, and so we would still talk to each other long distance and all that. And every time I would go home, she would always say, "What happened to us going to ET together?" was like, I got married. I can't go now. I got a husband. But anyway.
Formerly known as E.T. Ace. He probably didn't know the history of his own school. It's now Texas A&M.
I'm actually little known fact. I got there right on the borderline. So I started East Texas State and I graduated Texas A&M University.
Okay.
That's where I met my wife. East Texas State University.
Fine educational institution.
Oh.
All right, let's go to the comments. Quan Johnson says, I remember. Now, see, this is what y'all were up against and y'all probably didn't know. Of course, he said he remembered his grandfather telling him this, which might have been a generation before you guys. He said, I remember my uncle telling me a story of a teacher who my grandparents, thought was a good person. So in other words, they thought he was a good one. And he said, I can remember he couldn't remember his name, but my uncle said he mentioned, I'll quit teaching before I teach up.
Yeah.
And he never taught
He never taught it.
And that is just stupid.
Man.
No, boy.
These are some of the things that y'all were faced against. And it's scary. Because
I tell you what, one of the best teachers out there, he's the counselor, was Buford Scott. Now, if anybody in school I trusted, it was Buford Scott. The rest of them I had to keep my eye on. But there was some out there, but Buford Scott was the man.
What did he teach?
He was a counselor. I don't know if
he was a counselor. Yeah. Okay.
You know, I was in his office all the time.
I'm sure you
were. For doing something I didn't do, but I did it, you know, he did it.
They just blamed it on you anyway.
Yeah. Speaking of doing something you didn't do, how much blame did y'all actually take? Did you get something was stolen, something was lost, something was missing, whatever the case may be, and it had to be the N-word that took it? We didn't have this last year. Now this all of a sudden stuff is missing.
Not for me, it wasn't.
Well, I tell you what, we had one young lady who got accused of stealing, like I said, this certain person's purse, and she didn't do it. And I had to talk her down because if I hadn't, it might not have been no Sulphur Springs Senior High.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, okay. I got blamed for so much it was pitiful.
Man.
And I got blamed once for holding the door.
You knew who took it?
Nobody knew. It just happened that somebody black was in there, and that's who stole it. Right. Just like me at the door. They had one guy holding the door, wouldn't let the janitor in. He's a black guy. That was the second year. But guess who went to the office?
You did.
Yes. And he said, you're going to get 3 licks today. I said, no, I'm not.
Oh, God.
I said, I'm not going to take 3 licks for something that I didn't do. He said, well, you be expelled. That's what I.
That's an why.
I went through that a lot.
Yeah. Tony, I don't know how you dealt with that because, you know, I did not have to deal with that.
You know that young lady I was telling you about a while ago? She was there. I was there for her and she was there for me. And I can say that for her.
So, you know, I think what we've noticed, at least you'll see it a little bit more in the documentary, is black, but you're talking about the light skin versus dark skin and all that stuff. But the women had a better experience than the men did. Yeah. I wish we had Mike Smith.
In general, not because of their skin color. I just think because we were girls.
Well, I mean, I think it's something that we see even today, you know, Trayvon Martin, and we can go through the names of people, but if you group the men are being killed at an overwhelming rate over, I don't know if I said that right, over black women by police officers. So they just have a much more difficult time, you know. Paul Robeson, going back to his time, you know, he couldn't do a lot of acting because they didn't want a black man kissing or hugging or touching, you know, a white woman and all these things. Neither did I, Kay, says Billy. All right, y'all. Well, hey, this has been a lot of fun. I'm going to get ready.
Are intimidated with our black guys. They just always have been, you know. And if you're a big black guy, you're really going to get it, you know.
That's true. Yeah. Goodson, I have a question for you before you go to your next thing, real one. So with this documentary, who do you feel, whether they hear or posthumous, that this is? Can I give a question?
Right, give us a new word and we will use it.
Yeah, whether they hear or posthumous, who do you feel that this documentary will impact the most?
Who is that for?
I was asking, and who does he feel that this will impact the most as far as this work?
posthumously? Who? Okay, say it one more time.
Whether they hear or posthumous, or whatever the case may be.
Can you spell that? Oh Lord!
All right, ask you one more time. I'm sorry.
So, who do you feel, whether they're here or posthumous, that this body of work that you created, who do you feel it will impact the most as far as like a demographic, whether it's age, color, gender, or whatever? Who do you feel it impact the most?
The reason why I was having an issue with the question because the posthumous word.
Just go with the flow. I just want to use the word.
It just don't fit there. You know what? I think it'll really benefit people of Sulphur Springs, more probably the older generation. They'll kind of get to see their own story being told, but even more so the individuals in it, their grandkids. Because to me, it seems like, history is so far away and people just don't realize how close that it actually is. So once you realize that my grandmother or my grandfather, who I actually know and talk to on a regular basis, had to go through the very stuff that I'm watching in some of these movies, I think it impacts those people a little bit more. So I think, it could be a benefit to a lot of people, but mostly those that are very close to it, just like it did myself. Did y'all have any problems drinking out of the same fountain? Great question.
No.
I didn't drink. I didn't drink out of the fountain.
Oh, I think that's why I didn't have a problem, because I don't think I drank.
We didn't have bottled water, but I didn't drink out of the water fountain. Maybe I was scared. I don't know, but I didn't. But it didn't have signs on it like colored and white. It didn't have that, but I didn't want nobody to stick me in my back.
It did in my locker.
Yeah, see? Yeah.
I'll tell you a story. It's kind of funny. Like I was telling y'all the other night, I was trying to figure out who put that little man that, they burned and hung in my locker.
Yeah.
But the guy that I was with, we used to have to share lockers when we first started. It just dawned on me the other night. I was trying to figure out who put that man in there. So it had to be him because he knew the combination.
The combination to the lock, yeah.
And I wish I knew who it was today, because never mind.
It wasn't him, it was somebody he know, which is strange because of it. Sometimes your friends are your enemies.
Yep.
Hey, yo, Ace, who do we have on the show next week?
I'm discussing the topics that have to deal with the black family. The food or the drink is good when the person says swallow instead of swallow. We're going to have an interview with librarians with Tourette syndrome. And the name of the show is going to be titled Breaking the Rules. And we will have their mics muted most of the time. Married couples that swing at the playground. Are they confused or just risk takers? Giggity, giggity. We'll see how that goes.
Adrian, the Ace Stinson, and the rest of the Rebranders crew live Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. Central on YouTube and Instagram at Rebranders Podcast, Facebook at Rebranders, or rebranders.org.
I work too hard. Look, I work too hard for this stuff, man.
Tony Goodson, I think this is one of your favorite parts. Do you want to introduce it?
Go ahead.
Tony Goodson, I think this is one of your favorite parts. Do you want to introduce it?
What am I supposed to introduce?
Okay. Never mind. I'll just jump right on in it. Hey, yo,
that one.
Who do we have on the show next week?
Well, next week, guys, seeing that the NBA Finals just over, this is that kind of flat period in sports, so we're going to kind of have a sports-based show. I went and found a unique group of people, actually champions in their own right, and we're going to interview them. So we're actually going to be talking to cockeyed dodgeball players, and the name of the show will be Nature's Cheat Code. So we'll have them on and just kind of discuss that advantage they have and how they use it.
Look, I thank y'all so much for being on the show tonight. It's been.
Well, can I say one more thing to your dad?
Tony. I'll let y'all.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Maurice just told me to tell you that it was baseball where you guys had the 99-0, and what race? Willie Manuel was the coach.
Willie Manuel was my coach, but that was football in Irving, Texas, because I was a spotter in the broadcast booth. It was 99-0.
So somebody fired.
what's bad is y'all done got beat 99-0 in 2 different sports.
99. He's really been thinking about it since then. Like, but anyway.
Oh, well, you guys on the losing end?
All the
time. They never won a game. Yeah.
Well, hey, thank y'all for being on the show. Listen,
it was so good to see everybody. Billye, I hope to see you soon.
Honor and a pleasure.
Tomorrow morning, Tony Goodson and myself will be on KSST in Sulphur Springs, Texas. On Saturday, stay tuned. We will be playing the documentary in the park, Pacific Park, up near or inside of the Grays building. We don't know which one. So stay tuned. We cannot wait. Thank y'all for joining us tonight. We'll see you next time.